Well, hey there, hero. I'm David H. Lawrence, the 17th, and about 35 years ago, I almost died. And what does that have to do with what's going on today? I learned something recovering from that incident that I think can be really effective in today's COVID 19 coronavirus laden world. And I'm going to show you and explain to you a couple of the things that we can put into use now on this edition of the VO Heroes podcast next. So, our world has changed entirely. I'm not going to be one of those people who tell you this is what coronavirus is. This is how to prevent yourself from getting it. This is how to prevent the spread of it. I've been getting a lot of emails from very well meaning people with things like, if you can hold your breath for 10 seconds and not cough, well, that means you don't have the virus. Not true. Lysol, it says right on the label, kills human coronavirus. Again, not this one, not true. So when you see those things, don't forward them just because somebody forwarded them to you. That doesn't mean that they're true. And it's hard to know what is actual fact. That's why I look for medical professionals as opposed to voiceover talent who are well-meaning, but not necessarily holders of medical degrees when I want to get information on that. And we're all going to become very, very expert in this over time. But for the most part, I'm watching, just like you are, what's happening with what's going on and how devastating this has been to us as a community of performers, a country, a world, and how things are going to be a new normal for a while at least. And when I got sick, I got a really, really, really bad case of food poisoning. I ate some prime rib at a restaurant in Connecticut, and it was not good prime rib. I could tell at the time I was eating it. But it ended up putting me up in the hospital for 5 days, and that's where I came close to death. But then I had to recover for another week and a half to 2 weeks. And after about maybe a day of being by myself and watching game shows and soap operas on television, there was really no internet to speak of. There was CompuServe. AOL hadn't become a thing yet when I got this. But it wasn't the resource that we have today. And I had to stay by myself, cordoned off in private, nobody, like I had people bring me food, but they would leave it outside the door and I would pick it up. And it's a lesson that I learned because when that happened, and after that first day of total, absolute boredom, and knowing that I had many, many days to follow and trying to figure out what to do with my time, I ended up reading all the books that I hadn't gotten around to reading. I ended up watching a lot of educational television. There were cable channels that I could watch that taught me how to do all kinds of things. I read manuals from the computer equipment that I had at the time. I had this new Macintosh, and I learned how to use it really, really well. So I took that opportunity to turn what was a very, very negative situation into something really, really positive. And that's what I want to share with you today. You likely, if you're in a situation where you go to a day job, a survival job, or you go to some place where you communicate with people all the time, you're likely going to be changing your behaviors and doing something called social distancing, sheltering in place. But social distancing is keeping a distance between you and other people. What do you do there when you're all by yourself? My suggestion to you is turn it to your advantage. Turn it into a super weapon. Take the time to do all of those things that you couldn't quite find the time or the concentration to do leading up to this, right? And one way to do that is to go through your email. If you don't delete emails, just go through your emails looking for receipts for courses, online courses that you've paid for, but have never gotten around to taking, to actually doing it. You think to yourself at the time, oh, it's $19? Yeah, I'll buy that. That makes sense. Or maybe you bought VO Heroes and it was $2,000, $3,000 and you haven't quite gotten around to engaging with it. Well, now is a great time to do that. You can take this moment of focus and concentration and isolation and a long period of time with no interruptions. I mean, yeah, you can keep flipping through your news feed on Facebook and you can keep, looking around and playing casual games on your phone if you want to. But why not take this time, take this opportunity to turn this into a super weapon, to charge yourself, to learn things, to do self-improvement and personal development? And when I heard about social distancing, I was like, yeah, we've been doing social distancing for a long time because we offer our workouts and our private coaching over, Zoom and via the internet. We do have live events, which we're talking about suspending for a while, the live workouts just for a while. But there's an advantage to doing these things online. And one of the advantages in our case is that when you learn how to do something with your microphone, or when you learn how to do something with copy or how to do editing, you're not coming to a classroom with the teacher's equipment and standing up in front of the class and doing things in a setting which might be daunting, might be embarrassing, might be a little anxiety, creating. You're doing them right there in the privacy of your own home. And you're not doing them on my gear, standing up in front of class. There's advantages to doing live things. But one of the advantages of doing it from home over the web is that you're using your equipment in your setting, and you can apply exactly what you're doing to your situation. It's called in situ, INSITU. It's a Latin term that means in the exact situation that you find yourself. So kind of like when you go to set and they say, so on the day, meaning when we do it, right? So when you take courses online, you can put them to use right away. When I was learning how to do my Macintosh, I was actually working with my Macintosh right there. I wasn't going to a classroom somewhere where some guy or some woman was standing up in front of me going, now when you get home and work on your Mac, this is what you want to do. So all of those things together, we are about to enter into a phase where it can be really depressing. It can be really, really anxiety-ridden. It can be sad. It can be very, very isolating. But if you choose to think about it in a different, more productive way, that it's your golden opportunity to not have the phone ringing, to not have a coworker or a customer interrupting you, where you can, like if you're doing the VO Heroes courses, and you've already done all the classes, do them again. Remember the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. You're going to find things in all of those classes that I guarantee you missed the first time around. And if you haven't gotten around to doing the classes, well, again, now's your opportunity to do just that. Take advantage of this moment in time that has put us in this situation that we're all in, and really put it to good use. Turn it into a super weapon. And do so in your space, at your pace, with your gear. I hope that helps. I hope it does. Tell me what you think. What do you plan on doing if you have to shelter in place? What do you plan on doing when you have to do some social distancing? And does this make sense? I mean, you might find that you don't have any courses. Maybe you want to go find some courses. We're going to do a launch in about a month where we're going to open registration for the spring edition of VO Heroes. And there was some conversation about not doing that. And I'm like, no, I think people are going to be wondering what to do with their time. And they also know that when we're through with this, when we fix this, and we will fix this, they're going to want to get back into the swing of things and do so with an advantage. And that's what I want to create for you, is that advantage. So tell me what you think about this in the comments below. I'd love to know. I'd love to know if this is something you've thought about, if you have other plans that you'd like to suggest, but if this makes sense to you, if turning social distancing not as a negative, but into this lovely super weapon that you can use for self-improvement and self-development, personal development, if that makes sense to you. Love to have you in the tribe doing just that. And if you'd like to get notified when these videos come out, we come out once a week, go ahead and join the list. If you're on voheroes.com, go to the bottom of the page and fill out the form that says, get on the list. You'll be on the list. I appreciate it very much. I'm David H. Lawrence, the 17th. I thank you so much for watching and for listening, and I will talk to you soon.